Welcome back to State of Decay 2 and the Salt of the Earth. We have a very specific mission today. I've been getting reports from people inside the studio, and I haven't heard them from outside the studio yet, but I'm sure it must be happening elsewhere too, because I just saw it happen here. I've got a Survivors in Need mission with a red enclave. That's not supposed to be possible. For one thing, I know that I did not have a red enclave earlier, because I went through and I murdered all of the red enclaves on my map last session. And so this is a new enclave, probably spawned by this mission, but they've got the wrong relationship type with me. At least that's what it looks like. Let's get closer and find out if that's really the case. After I figure out how to do normal vehicle driving stuff. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so this is going to be one of those streams where I'm here to investigate bugs in my own game and figure out, man, mission casting can be just such a mystery sometimes. Like when something goes wrong with it, a lot of times there's no, like, it's already happened, there's no evidence left behind to help me figure out why it happened the way it happened. And then because the system is just so random, it's all about making things happen wherever, whenever, you know, reusing the same content in a lot of different contexts to, you know, sort of flesh out the world. That leaves us in a position where it's like trying to make the same exact thing happen again, so that you can, you know, wait, how? There's no good way to get there. Okay, I mean, I could just take off just straight across the terrain, but I guess I'll just take the long way around because why not? This guy's getting impatient with me because I'm just leaving a plague heart here in case I need plague samples. All right, so yeah, it's tough. Like one of the upsides of a system like our mission system, which is good at just sort of sticking new missions anywhere at once, is that it's unpredictable and surprising, and we can sort of flesh out, you know, the game with a lot of content, while still leaving it, you know, very replayable, very unique to each player's experience. There's a lot of really good things about it, but the downside is, like, if the game was more like specifically scripted with the exact same thing happening every time, then it would be really easy when there was a bug with a mission to be like, oh well, I'm just going to go to the part of the game that has that mission and try it again, and we'll see what's wrong with it. Okay, so I want to. Oh, okay, I don't actually want to turn off here. And there are parts of the game that are like that. A lot of the content in Trumbull Valley is very specifically scripted to happen in specific places, with specific characters doing specific things. And if something goes wrong with one of those missions, we just keep testing that mission exactly the same way until we figure out what's going on. But these ones that are about, like, spawning a random enclave or casting an existing enclave, and it could be any enclave with any history in any location, and then doing stuff with them, it's how can you ever, even if you think you fixed a problem, how can you persuade yourself that you've really fixed it if you can't make the exact same circumstances happen again? Because the exact same circumstances never repeat in this game. Like, you've always got different characters involved, different locations, different histories, different everything. Whoa, I looked at the chat and just immediately hit an obstacle. Average Twitch user wants to know who designed the Apocalypse vehicles. So our very first pass at them, of like concepts for the sort of Apocalypse vehicles, they were done by somebody outside the studio, somebody that was contracted to sort of create a bunch of concepts for us. But then we didn't start building them until after Dan Mode showed up. We hired him specifically because he was an expert in creating vehicles. And so he built our Apocalypse vehicles, and while he was building them, like, that was where we really were establishing the look of them. So there was some concept art earlier than that, but I would really say it's down to Dan Mode how the vehicles turned out. Okay, so these guys, they are talking to me. Oh. They're talking to me like I'm supposed to help them. Oh, I'm leaving the mission area, which is bad. But I think these guys might be still hostile.
I gotta take it out.
Oh, can't wait till update 26.
I should reload.
Okay, there's a lot of zombies here. Oh, wait. Oh, was this one of those... Oh, I think this is a version of the mission where we consciously kill all of the characters. Dang it! Unfortunately, that means that this is going to be a bad test of this bug that I've been seeing where, like, Lucy has been finding this a lot. She's been doing a bunch of play testing of update 26, and she keeps getting into weird situations where Enclaves will have the wrong relationship with her. And so I've been wanting to try to find a case like that, and this might be a case like that, except I can't have the full experience.
I should reload.
Okay, this is too many freaking zombies. I can't have the full experience because this is apparently a mission where they're not meant to talk to me. Oh, that's frustrating. I really wanted to have the full experience of this bug. Well, I'm getting out of here. There's no point in fighting all of these zombies. See you later. Whew, okay, well, I didn't learn anything new from that, except the fact that it is definitely possible to have an enclave that is not supposed to be hostile launch a mission. Yeah, that was really weird. So here's the problem. Like, if it was just a problem with mission scripting, I would just go and I would track down what mission that was. The mission where it's a survivor activity mission, and when you get there, all the survivors are dead. Actually, let's go... Now that I've sort of led the zombies on a wild goose chase, let's actually... Oh, there's a bloater. Great. Let's actually go back. Let's go back and just look and see if there's dead bodies in there. I'm pretty sure there will be. It was one of these buildings. It's hard to tell which. But let's see if there's a bunch of dead bodies. It just might tell me something about the nature of the mission, which mission it is. The thing is, like I was saying, like if it's something to do with mission scripting, I should just be able to look in this mission and be like, oh, we're not requiring that this enclave be friendly. Or I could look in the mission and say, like, oh, we've accidentally left a condition in there that could turn the enclave hostile.
No more in sight.
But if there's nothing like that in there, then the only option I have is to tell a programmer, hey, this mission did a weird thing that it wasn't scripted to do, and it did it one time, and then the coder goes and tests it, and they're like, it didn't happen for me, and then we're at an impasse. Like, at that point, we probably forward it on to QA and say, hey, can you guys find a reproduction of this bug? And then they try for a while, and maybe they find one, maybe they don't. We've had some bugs, some pretty serious bugs, where it took months for QA to finally sort of like find the weird, bizarre set of circumstances that lead to the bug actually happening. Okay, so, wait, how does this building work? Hold on a second. Okay, so there's a second story. Oh, right. Oh, this is the door that leads to the stairs, right? Okay, let's look upstairs. So far, no dead bodies, which is kind of a surprise. Usually if we're gonna, call in an enclave, like create an enclave and then kill them for a mission, they will have existed, and their bodies will be lying around. But I'm not seeing any bodies. This game is haunted. Oh, Renethcord, was it Survivor in Need and not Survivor Activity? I mean, I can always look back at the video and see. So Renethcord suggests, I think this mission only casts onto hostiles. Even the thought bubbles at the end said they weren't friendly. if that's the case, then maybe okay. Then maybe like if this really was a mission where they were always intended to be hostile, then great. This mission isn't bugged, but also I haven't found an example of the problem that I was tracking down. And actually, a lot of the time, I would much prefer to have a bug than not have a bug, because then at least I've got something to work with, you know, to try to fix it. So if I find that that actually is intended to be a hostile enclave, then great. But I mean, I mean, if they're hostile, then everything in the game is going to say that they're hostile. It's the question of whether they were meant to be hostile that we need to answer. So Jalafawa's in here, and he says that happens to neutral enclaves all the time and always has. What happens? Do you mean like that mission happens to them all the time, or do you mean they randomly become hostile for no reason, or they turn hostile and then still get cast in missions as though they weren't hostile? Because my hypothesis was that this was an enclave. This is a mission that's intended for neutral enclaves, and that this one was hostile for mysterious buggy reasons. I could be wrong about that, but that was the sort of operating hypothesis that I had. Okay, I guess I might as well go and try to scavenge, since we're out here anyway. Hello. Okay, yeah, so Jalafa was saying that mission is supposed to happen in neutral enclaves. So, yeah, so I don't know what's going on there. But we've got some piece of evidence that it can go weird. We've also got what Lucy found during her playtest, so I don't know if that's going to lead us to an answer. It's really weird. Oh, okay, so Jawafawa says it can also happen to hostiles. That's why the mission dialogue said they aren't exactly our friends. Okay, so again, yeah, so if I track this mission down and in the mission scripting it says, oh, I just overshot. And in the mission scripting it says that it's okay for this to happen to hostile enclaves, which I don't know, it seems weird. Like how would you rescue hostile enclaves from... Oh, of course, yeah, if they're always meant to be killed, then yeah, whatever. Of course, I didn't think that I had a hostile enclave on the map already in that spot. That's kind of what's confusing me, is that I could see us casting an existing hostile enclave, but why would we create a hostile enclave just to murder them? That just feels weird, like not the kind of thing we would have done. But I don't know. There's lots of things. There's lots of things in this game where when I look at it, I'm like, that doesn't seem like a thing we would ever have done. But we did, so... Alright. Oh. These containers are all outside. Okay, fine. Yeah, OG Jalafawa says, there's so many missions. That is true. It is hard to keep track of what's going on in this game because there's just so much of it all. Oh, Red Fighter said, tell Jedi that that we miss her when she's not here. Well, what the crap? Okay. Cool. That's where we are. That's the second potential bug. I mean, that one I think is pretty unequivocally a bug. So, at least, you know, unlike the other thing we just ran into, I don't have any doubt about that one. That one's definitely a bug. Let's go poke around in this house. Cloudcraft, I always miss you too. Haha, take this with my fireman's hatchet. Chopped you into firewood. Wait, that's not what firemen do. Okay, let's just peek into every room. Hello, room. Oh, you have a bag. Of course, I don't think I can take much out of the bag. Okay, we'll drop some more crap off. And, oh, I do have some snacks in there. Okay, let's drop this gun off. Grab some snacks, because I can stack the snacks. And then, let's put one more thing away. That. I wonder if I can get everything that's left.
Not bad for an old coot.
Okay, where was that container? I think it was in here. Okay. Was one more container.
Still smell 'em.
Ah! These guys can sometimes attack so fast. No. No, I was not trying to close a door. It's impossible to deal with, though. Like, there's no good way to do that, because sometimes you'll knock down a zombie, and the thing you do want to do is close the door. So, there's no hard and fast rule you can make about that. It's just going to sometimes be wrong. Oh, I like that gas. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go drop something next to the vehicle. Go get that gas, and then come fuel up the vehicle and pick up the thing. So let's drop this. Go and grab... this. Because I think we were running low on gas anyway. I am Fenwick. I agree with you that the fact that we've just set up these consequences to, you know, ignoring missions from other characters, and it's just really consistent. No matter how urgent or unurgent the mission is, we still treat it like you've failed if you don't immediately do what people say. Doesn't really play into sort of, I don't know, thematically what we're going for with the rest of the game, or like what we imagine would be a fun experience for players. Like, yeah, I'm not really happy with the decisions that we made in that regard. Like, this is a game that's meant to feel like, you know, you've got a lot of strategic control over what you're doing, and just now, it's not out of line for us to have emergencies. Like, oh no, there's an emergency, you have to deal with it, or you have to make a hard choice right now about your time. Like, it's okay to have that sometimes, but the fact that everything works that way feels off to me. That feels like that's not quite how it should work. Some of those choices just end up getting made because of expediency, because a more complex solution just wasn't in the cards with the resources we had. And that's often, you know, if you like scratch really deep, a lot of the time, like most things in the game that are not up to scratch, that ends up being the answer. Is it we knew that we could do a better job, except that we didn't have the time or money to do a better job at the time.
We needed that.
We needed that. So, you know, not blaming anyone for this, but I wish that it was better, and at some point I would love to find a better way to approach it. The thing is, like, right now it is so deep in the mission system and how it works that it would take a pretty major revision to change it. And so whether or not we get the opportunity to make those kinds of changes remains to be seen. Because, you know, even you know, with the kind of ideal scenario we're in, you know, supporting this game after release, we still have to make a lot of judicious choices about what we spend our time on. And there's so many things we want to do. Something that would take that much large-scale revision to the way that the mission system works, it's still daunting. All right, let's just drop this. I'm assuming these zombies aren't going to come anywhere near me, right? Right, zombies? Aw.
Okay, that's a lot of zombies.
Haha. Thank you, friends. Okay, we've got an infestation right near our house, so in just a second we're gonna have to deal with that. But first, let's drop off. Oh wait, I forgot how to drop things off. Oh, what a surprise! We're out of room for materials. Oh, I just threw away my heals, so I'm gonna have to restock a little bit. Let's fix the door by, of course, going to the hood of the car, because that's where you fix doors. Her and the Hunter, we would love to get Blaze of Glory back into the game. That was such a compelling moment in the first State of Decay. That's still, it's especially on Brant's short list of stuff that he would love to get into the game before we're done. He's the one who brings it up the most. Though it's not just him. I agree with him that it would be good. Oh, just occurred to me I need to reload these guns before I restock on the ammo. That'd be good. Kimsa Bimsa asks, "What do I think of Aliens Fireteam?" So I've played I played through the first campaign, the first series of 3 missions. I did it on the stream, so if you want to look back at some point, you can either look back on Twitch, or I'm going to release them as YouTube videos sometime in the near future. But yeah, I had a great time. I think I was skeptical of a few aspects of it at first. There were some parts where it's like, oh, well, this is true to the movies, but it doesn't quite feel right in the game. And there were some other parts where I was like, you know, this, I understand why you're doing this because of a game, but it doesn't really feel true to the movies. They're like, I was sort of having these little moments of discordance with it at the beginning. But as I got deeper and deeper into the game, I just had a lot more, I just kept having more and more fun with it. And so by the end of my, like, I think 2 hours that I spent with it, I was really on board and excited to try more. So, nice work, that team. Cold Iron? Cold Iron. Nice work, Cold Iron Studios. And especially, nice work, Cale Shupman, former colleague and the guy who created a lot of these missions that we're talking about. He left Undead Labs to go work for Cold Iron to make Aliens Fireteam. And he's a big fan of the Aliens franchise, so it's kind of like a dream job for him. I've just decided this is how we're fighting zombies today. So yeah. Oh no. Oh, there you are. Die. Maybe I won't try to make as much noise. So the question is, was that screamer... Okay, good. That screamer was not meant... That screamer was not meant to be part of the infestation. I was worried, because I've been seeing infestations appear outside of the sites that they're assigned to lately, and that's annoying me, and I don't know what's causing it. That's why it's annoying me, because I don't know what's causing it. But yeah, no, there would have been an X through a screamer here if that screamer outside had been part of the infestation. So it was just a coincidence there was an extra screamer far outside the site. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, there you are. Hello. Trying to find that last guy. Okay, so this claims I've already searched this. I guess that means... Well, I guess I just left some stuff behind last time. Alright, well, it's still got a little bit of space in the van, so... Hello? Take that, zombie. Yeah, so I was planning on doing a slightly shorter session today, so let's go hit up some other houses in our immediate neighborhood, and then we'll head back. We might get through it. It's day 12. You You know what? Actually, there's probably too much stuff in here for me to get in one go with this character and his tiny backpack that he wears entirely because it looks good with his fireman outfit and not because it's efficient.
We can't expect our stuff to stay safe if we don't have enough storage.
Oh crap, we're losing stuff. Right, I always forget this. Actually, I'm curious. What do we... Okay, we should do that. And then we should... Is that enough? Yes, all of our storage... We're below all of our storage limits now. Cool. Wait a minute. What's in here?
Better take care of the last.
Ah! What the... Oh, you sneaky zombie. Cogs is wondering if I'm going to stream Humankind later today. So my problem with Humankind is that I keep not winning it. Like, I wanted to get through my first session and actually understand it front to back before, because it's a game that takes such a long time to play. If I just do a stream where I'm sort of discovering it from scratch, we're going to see very little of it, and it's not going to be a very informative stream. So I kind of wanted to get through one entire campaign first, and then start a new campaign, talk about sort of what you're seeing in the sort of the faster moving beginning of the game, and then move on to but then have something to talk about, being able to sort of describe how the game progresses afterwards. But unfortunately, Humankind, it's not quite as slow paced as Civilization, but it's up there. It takes a while to get through it, so I haven't successfully gotten through it yet.
That'll teach me to move too fast.
Another thing I kind of wanted to do was also play a campaign of Old World, so that I've got both of those in my head at the same time, because that seems valuable. So it might be a while before I do a Humankind stream. I do have it. It is sitting there looking at me, waiting for me to play it. But so average Twitch user is asking me how the 40mm grenade works, and apparently he was able to get a screamer to fly like 40 feet in the air or something like that by hitting it with one. I mean, it's physics. I'm pretty sure what happens is when you hit a zombie with an explosion and it's killed by the explosion, then it goes ragdoll immediately, and then we use physics to just propel it in whatever direction with whatever force the explosion would indicate. So if you get it just right, if you hit it right there at the right angle with the close range with an explosion, you can get it going pretty far. And sometimes it's probably unrealistic, but I think that sometimes you have to sort of let the very high end of it be unrealistic in order to make it reliably move, when it's not under perfect conditions and it's not just hitting with maximum force, that it still has an effect and it feels satisfying. So I imagine maybe we tuned it up a little bit from reality to make sure that it looked good often enough. Okay, so this, I'm not going to be able to get any more from here, so I might as well run home with this. Oh, hello, friends. On the ground with you. Our game is gross. Hey there, Sunny Games. I was watching you play last night, but I didn't say anything because I was also doing like 3 other things at the same time. But I appreciated all of the sort of, I don't know, the way you were explaining it to other people, giving your honest feedback. You know, there were parts of it that, were your favorite and parts of it that weren't. But I always appreciate your perspective on this stuff and the way that you will inform other players and other prospective players about the game. If any of you don't follow Sunny Games and you do like watching State of Decay streamers and State of Decay content, then I definitely consider him worth a follow. Okay, so I was gonna quit after that scavenging run, but it's just so tantalizing to have just a few buildings left. I think I'm gonna head back, do one more little scavenge before I say we're done. Yeah. So average Twitch user. I remember the very first time. I think the very first time I saw ragdoll used in a semi-realistic game was, I think it was Max Payne 2, and I remember watching a trailer for Max Payne 2 where there were, I think, a bunch of criminals jumping over a wall into sort of like the back patio of some downtown building, and as they were jumping over the wall, Max was shooting at them, and he shot one of them in the leg. The leg went out from under the guy, and he tumbled over the wall. And I had never seen something like that before. And it really just kind of blew my mind. I was like, oh, wow, that is the coolest violence I've ever seen in a video game. Because I've long had the impression, and this actually dates back to the days of Doom. I've used this example before, but I don't know if you all have heard it. So originally, Wolfenstein was made by id Software, but it was published by what were their names? Apogee, I think was the name of the company. They eventually became 3D Realms, but I think they were called Apogee at the time. It was published by Apogee, and then I think for the next game, for Doom, id I think decided to publish it themselves. And so they didn't go with Apogee with Doom, but at the same time, Apogee still, they were riding high on the success of Wolfenstein, and they wanted to make their own, first person shooter, and making back then first person shooters were called Doom clones or actually Wolfenstein clones. They were called Wolfenstein clones because Doom was about to happen, hadn't happened yet. Later they all became Doom clones, but at the time, yeah, they were called. Is there a icon that I'm missing here? Nope, I guess not. They were called Wolfenstein clones. So they wanted to make their own Wolfenstein clone. And so they did. So around the same time, two games came out. Doom, which everyone knows about, and Blake Stone Aliens of Gold was the other first-person shooter that came out at that time. And no one remembers Blake Stone Aliens of Gold. It was much more of a Wolfenstein-alike. They didn't have John Carmack making up brand new technologies like he just does all the time, like he did for Doom. And so it was very much like technologically, it was just like Wolfenstein. There were differences in the game design. The levels were laid out very differently. You had, I think, an elevator that, if I remember correctly, I think you had an elevator that gave you access to arbitrary access to the levels instead of sort of needing to progress through them in a specific order. So there were design innovations, but I think the thing that made the difference for me as a player, and this was long before I ever realized I was going to become a game developer, that even at that point, for me as a player, I realized from playing those two games that there were aspects of violence that were really impactful and visceral, and there were aspects that weren't, and it came down to the differences in the way that the two, the sprites that you would kill in those two games, the way that they would be animated. In Doom, when you shot an imp with a shotgun, it would fly back from you. It would sort of go into sort of it would animate into sort of a lying back, facing away from you, or its head pointed away from you position, and it would move physically away from you. And another, when you shot a Pinky Demon in the head, it would collapse in front of you, but a chunk of its skull would fly away from you off to the side at this weird angle. And it felt really, really good because there was motion involved with it, right? It was very kinetic. It felt like your guns had impact on people. Whereas Blake Stone was also violent, but the animations, the equivalent to a Pinky Demon, the big green monsters, when you killed them, they would get full of holes and start dripping slime and then collapse to the ground, just straight down. Or, some of the guys, when you would shoot them with a gun, their arm would come off. They'd be like, ah, gross, look at my arm coming off. But the movement of the arm was sideways. You shot them forward, but then they would split apart sideways and kind of just collapse limply to the ground. And I realized that what made violence impactful was not gore, because Blake Stone had more gore than Doom had. But Doom had more kinesis. Doom had more movement. It had more motivated movement. You fired the gun, you know what direction that force is going, and the enemies would respond to it and react that same way, which is I think why Ragdoll works so well. Like, even if it's unrealistic, the fact that you did something and you know what direction it was going, and then you saw the physics of your action carried through, it feels powerful and it feels impactful in a way that just seeing a bunch of guts coming out of something, it doesn't feel impactful in the same way. Ouchio Kid says, is there a reason why characters won't get in the driver's seat if you get into the rear passenger seat? Oh, you mean like my character won't get into the driver's seat? Yeah, I'm trying to remember if we fixed... So we fixed a few different things in Update 26 with the way that characters handle getting into driver's seat. So let's go in here. Oh, no, not this one. No, get out, you jerk. Get out of there. I don't remember if we fixed this. Yeah, so my character only moves one step. He doesn't go all the way to the driver's seat. That was never the intent. The intent was for them to end up in the driver's seat. So I know we made some corrections to the way that characters handle their movements when they get into a vehicle. I know we did it with AI followers, so they now get into the passenger seat. I don't remember if we fixed it for drivers, because we don't intend for them to be doing that. In fact, I think when we originally implemented it, I think they did actually get all the way to the driver's seat. Something messed them up. So now I need to... Oh, we've got this other weird bug where my character's now stuck running all the time. Why? I forgot what caused this. Is it something to do with the car? I think it might have something to do with the car. No, it doesn't. What caused that? Okay, now it stopped. Now that I've actually sprinted a little bit, it stopped. Oh, that was fascinating. Okay, Ouchio Kids confirms in the beta it still is behaving that way. Okay, well, I need to make sure. I need to track that down because, yeah. Let me just make a little note here. Player character to driver's seat. Because I think if we could fix the other problem, we could probably fix this one too. So thanks for reminding me of that, because there were several different things we wanted to fix with how characters get in and out of cars, and or get into cars, get into the right seats of cars. And I think that was just an oversight. We forgot to fix that part of it. So yeah, we'll have to check that out. Yeah, so Ouchio Kids, what's supposed to happen is that your characters, like your NPCs, are supposed to get in the back seat, but then after they've gotten in the back seat, work their way up into the front. And I know I verified that it was working at some point. If it broke again, then that's unfortunate, but... Macmert was asking me, did you get a chance to check the Red Talent operative combat bug that I told you about? Now I'm trying to remember what you said before, Macmert. I'm sorry if I forgot something that you told me. But you might have to remind me again what it was that you pointed out. And while I'm waiting for that, Cogs is curious what's happening in the Undead Lab streams this week. So we're doing 2 streams this week. On Monday, we're doing one of our usual streams on schedule, where we're going to talk to Andy, our narrative design lead. We're going to talk to Doug Juno, who's our head world builder. And we're going to talk to Brent Fitzgerald, our art director, about the Trumbull Valley map and the story content and just the environmental storytelling, what's happened in the map since Heartland. We're going to avoid getting into like deep spoilers of the storylines you play through in Trumbull Valley, but I'm also going to put a warning at the beginning that like we will be talking about what you'll discover as you explore Trumbull Valley. Not everything, but some things. So if you want to stay completely unspoiled, we'll be like, don't watch this until you've played the game. But we'll be talking about that. And then on Wednesday, we're doing a launch day celebration where basically, because so many people worked on this, and we only stream once every 2 weeks, and so we didn't have time to do a deep dive with everybody. And so all the people who worked on various parts of the update that weren't going to get to do sort of a deep dive stream, we're just inviting like a bunch of them to all come into one big stream. I sort of file in and out, and we're going to talk to interview different people over the course of 2 hours, and give people a chance to sort of like show off what they did and talk about their work, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Akina Shark asks, is the same person who created the Trumbull Valley map from State of Decay 1 still in the team? No. James McMillan has moved on to another studio, or to do something else. He's moved on in his career, so he's not there anymore. He was the primary person. I mean, multiple artists, contributed in some way or another to the map, but James was sort of the brains behind the map overall, and so yeah, so he's not at the studio anymore. It was actually Luis Yepes who built the Heartland map based on James's State of Decay 1 map. But he has also moved on to another team. He's still at the studio. He's just working on a different project right now. And so Doug Juno is the third different world builder to take a crack at Trumbull Valley. And it's really kind of cool to see each of these different artists do their own take on this same concept of Trumbull Valley and how it fits together. Okay, so now I'm scanning back to see if Macmert ever answered me. Here we okay. Red talent only shoving regardless of what weapon they're holding. Oh, okay. No, I thank you for reminding me. I did forget to leave myself a note to look into that. Red Talon operative only shoving. So do you mean that are you holding down the turbo button and then attacking, expecting them to do something like cut the legs out, that kind of thing, and instead they only shove the zombies? Because if that's what they're doing, then yeah, that is definitely a problem. Oh, yeah, so, Alchio Kids, as far as characters jumping in the backs of pickup trucks, yeah, that is a thing we haven't stopped them from doing yet, because it looks cool. But, yeah, I understand why it might be a little bit annoying sometimes if you're being surrounded by zombies. The thing is, the truck bed, I think, is just the most accessible one. It's really big and easy to reach, and so I think that when they're trying to get in as fast as possible, they'll tend to jump into the back. Kim Sabimsa wants to know what time in the EU will the new map launch on Wednesday. It'll probably be so. I don't have a solid time. We can't promise a specific time. Typically, it tends to happen in the morning around 10ish in the Pacific Northwest, which is Pacific time, United States specific time. Specific time. There you go. Specific from the Pacific Ocean. And so we're what I think we're 8 hours off England and 9 hours off Central Europe, so whatever that adds up to, it'll be sometime in the late afternoon probably, is my guess. But again, I can't make any specific promises. I don't actually control the time, and so don't make any place any bets or anything based on what I'm saying. All right. Okay, yeah, well, I'll definitely have to look into that Red Talon thing. In fact, I don't think I have any Red Talon characters in this community, do I? Yeah, no, I don't. But yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'll check it out sometime later. So we are coming up on the end of when I was planning on streaming. So let's, I don't know, get into a position where the world is pretty. One thing I haven't figured out is how I want to, is what kind of thumbnail I want. So maybe I'll just do this guy in front of a spur oil station, because whatever, it's as good an image as any. And, I love the 10,000 gallon hat. This is one of my favorite, names of a location in our game, the 10,000 gallon hat. It's just hilarious to me. So, I'm going to take a shot next to this. I don't know if this is actually going to be the thumbnail of the video, but, it's kind of nice, right? All right. Anyway, if you want to subscribe to my... Oh, you're not over there. You're still over there. Wait a minute. Okay, I've changed the way my cameras work. Let's try to make the... Okay, I guess I'll just do it from here. So if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, you can click that button right there, and I'll put the next State of Decay video right there. Other stuff right here. I say this every time. You know what I'm talking about.